Hello everyone, this is Snowbird Bob back again here with you today. Today is August the 2nd, 2018. Today I'm going to release and talk about my winter outlook of 2018-2019. I was going to wait till August 15th to release this, and really the only reason I was going to wait because I really wanted to wait and look at what the Farmer's Almanac and the Old Farmer's Almanac has to say about the area, but I'm not going to wait on those. I'm just going to go with what off I've been studying and reviewing over all the latest data over the last couple months, and we'll just get right into it here. First, I'd like to appreciate all my new subscribers out there. I really do appreciate it, and I work around the clock, especially from probably September all the way through March and April to keep everybody informed on the very latest out there. So let's get right into it here. We'll take a look at this is last year's weather pattern that's set up for the winter of 2017-2018. We did get a lot of cold shots into the area, but it was pretty dry, especially out here in Texas and Oklahoma, and really across much of the forecast area. We had a little bit of snow in January that come down through Arkansas and Louisiana, and then we had that pretty big snow from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia in December. And then after that, y'all really didn't get much of nothing else out there because it was just too dry. But like I said, we did have some cold shots out there. It's just we didn't have the precipitation to go along with it. What is looking like to take shape is El Nino. This here shows the typical El Nino weather pattern. It shows the Pacific jet kind of coming across the south here and wet southwest and southern United States with warm air coming into the northern parts of the United States here. But this is a typical El Nino. I think we're going to have a Molokai El Nino, probably a weak to moderate El Nino. I know a lot of the signals right now from the latest ENSO forecast are showing that we're getting down to around a neutral ENSO, but I do think that we'll go into a weak to a moderate El Nino as we get further and further up into the fall and winter. This is what the SST anomalies show. This is actually the sea surface temperatures of a typical El Nino. You see how warm the water is near the coast of South America, and then you look at the sea surface temperature anomalies of a El Nino Molokai. You got a lot more cooler waters near the coast of South America, and most of your warmer waters are out here into the central Pacific right here. So it's a pretty big of a difference between a regular El Nino and then an El Nino Molokai. And what I think this will allow, let me back it up here. I think this will allow the Pacific jet, instead of coming into the southwestern part of the United States around the Baja, Southern California, I think this area actually will be drier, and I think the Pacific jet will be a little more southern. It'll kind of come up through Mexico and through the Gulf of Mexico and the southern United States. So this red area kind of be like this here instead of like what it's showing there. And I think that'll give us the area much more chances of precipitation as we head throughout the winter of 2018-2019. And also with a lot of this warm water that's projected to be up in the Gulf of Alaska here, I think that's going to promote a ridge up into Alaska and the Gulf of Alaska here, and then a trough into the central and eastern part of the United States. And I think that's going to allow some pretty good cold shots to come through the area as we head deeper and deeper up into the winter season on here. And what I have up here, this is the average temperatures from 1951 to 2010 of a Molokai El Nino for December, January, and February. As you can see, from 1951 to 2010, the central and east part of the United States, a Molokai El Nino produced a much below average temperatures in that time period. And from 1981 to 2010, the same thing produced well below average temperatures. Now, I would say there was one or two analog year packages that did produce a mild winter across the area, but overall, Molokai El Ninos, since being observed, about 95 to 97% chance it looks like that we could be seeing below average temperatures as we head into December, January, and February on here. We take a look at the latest predicted December, January, and February of 2018-2019. This is the GEMS-TEC model. I think this is a really reliable forecast model. It's a long-range forecast model, and it's showing a lot of the blue area right in here in the southern United States, southeast United States, to be below average temperatures, and I think that's what we'll see. And also the latest Canadian CANSIP models and the seasonal European model is showing a similar situation, and the latest CFS V2 models is showing below average temperatures across the central, southern, and eastern part of the United States on there, and I think that's what we'll be seeing as we head throughout the winter this year. Let me blow this up. This is a good example of a Mordecai El Nino of the winter of 2009-2010. We had a lot of winter weather that run across portions of the forecast area, like around Dallas, over toward northern Louisiana and Arkansas, and all the way out to Georgia and the Carolinas here. And it was a cold winter too. But do you see how these low pressure systems kind of track through the south here, through California? I think this year, I think a lot of the low pressure systems and the tracks will be more, from us, like I was saying, from Mexico up into the southern United States and on the Gulf of Mexico up into the northeast like this, instead of the tracks coming in from the Baja. I think it'll be more tracks through Mexico up through this area here. And also what's not showing, 2013-2014 is another good analog year, and it was a very cold winter and had lots of winter precipitation across the area, and I think that's what we could be looking at as we go further and further into the months. And this is what I think the overall temperature will be. I think we're looking at much below average temperatures across the area, especially from Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and Alabama, and to central and southern Texas here, and then below average temperatures all the way up to the rest of the forecast area. And one big reason I believe this is going to happen is because all the moisture feed coming in from Mexico, and all the cloud cover and everything, is when we do get cold shots coming down through the northern plains and heading into the south and the mid-south and the deep south here, I think it will allow for some below average temperatures. Now, and I'm not saying the whole every day is going to be below average, but overall I think this is what the temperature outlook will look like. And this is the map I put up for the 2018-19 winter precip outlook. I think that the only thing, if I could go back and change it on here, I would extend this winter battle zone here out further into Texas here. I would actually cut this dryness out of southwestern Texas and southern Texas here, and I'd actually extend this winter battle zone in this area that I'm highlighting here, because I think that it's going to be more precipitation in this area. Winter battle zone, I think this is where going to be a lot of the low pressure systems tracks up through here. We're going to have a lot of winter weather. Not all of it's going to be winter weather, but I think we'll have better chances than average to see winter weather, because all of the low pressure systems that's going to be tracking up through here during a Mordecai El Nino like this. And then I put icy winter down here towards central Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, northern Louisiana, parts of eastern Texas here. Now, some of this ice, it's not all going to be ice. Anywhere in this pink area, you can still see some good snows on here, but this is my latest thinking. And then down here where it's in the green, some of this northern parts there in the green could see a little wintry mix at times too on here. And I got a snowy winter for the Central Plains through the Ohio Valley here, especially really across the extreme northern parts of the forecast area. I think we really do good in this area here. And then we'll take it out and look at the this is a snowfall outlook. This is shows the average snowfall for the region. I got above average winter weather across the southern parts of the area. Now that could be sleet, snow, or ice on there, and it don't take much to give y'all above average winter weather down here, because y'all don't usually see that much out there. Now up in here into parts of Texas, northern Louisiana, north central Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and the Carolinas here, I think it'll be above average snowfall on average throughout the December, January, and February time frame. But you got to remember, places like Monroe, Louisiana, El Rado, Arkansas, only averages around a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of snow. And then maybe around 2 inches for Atlanta. So maybe, you know, a ½ inch to 3 inches of snow is y'all's average. So anything above that would put y'all above average. And I think that we do stand a chance of seeing some above average snowfall. And it could be much above average in this area too. It only takes one storm to produce that. Now this is where an area I think that hadn't seen very much snow in the last several years. There's been a pretty good snow drought going on up there from around Dallas over toward Lubbock, Texas, up to Oklahoma City, over toward Little Rock, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Jonesboro, Memphis, Tennessee, over toward Nashville, Tennessee, up into southern Missouri, and parts of Kentucky here. I think this area is going to see much above average snowfall in here. And the reason I believe that, like I have been saying, I think a lot of these low pressure systems are going to track from Mexico along the northern Gulf of Mexico up into the east coast here, and on the north and northwest side, I think if we get the air cold enough, I think there'll be some pretty good winter storms up here. You take, for instance, on average snowfall, Little Rock averages about 4 inches of snow. So if y'all get 6 to 8 inches of snow this year, that's going to be much above average snowfall. Over here toward Dallas, I think y'all average a couple inches of snow. Well, if you get, you know, 5 to 8 inches of snow in this area, that's going to be much above average snowfall. Now, if you get toward the northern parts of the forecast area, we average up here about 8 to 12 inches of snow. So I think if you get 15 to 20 inches of snow across the northern portions of the forecast area, that's going to be considered much above average snowfall in there. And I really do think we got an exciting winter coming up this winter. I think that the winter's probably going to come in probably pretty strong in December. It may back off a little bit in January before it comes back in full force in February, but that's way out there, and we'll just have to wait and see how that plans out there. But I do think that a lot of the area that hadn't seen snowfall in several years is going to get a lot better chance of seeing snowfall as we head throughout the winter this year. And I'm really liking this Modica El Nino and the setup and a lot of the signals and the long range signals like the NAO. We could be in a neutral to negative NAO too, and that's what that's going to allow is for a lot of blocking up here toward Greenland, and it's going to allow a lot of these troughs in the central and eastern part of the United States to sustain this cold when the cold air does come down into the region. And then if we get some of these systems to run across here while we got the cold air in place, we could be looking at lots of winter precipitation across the area. I think this year is going to be probably at least 70 or 80% better than last winter. I mean, we was really dry across the area, but I think this winter is going to be much different out there. So we'll just have to wait and see. And I appreciate y'all joining in today, and I appreciate you know, y'all sticking with me. I know it's been a long video here. We're running over 12 minutes. Normal, my videos are about 5 to 8 minutes long, and on average, but I had a lot to go over today on here, and I hope y'all enjoyed it out there. And we'll get ready for our first frost and freezes coming up in the next couple months here, and then we'll start talking about the potential of winter weather all across the forecast area out there. So y'all have a great day, everyone, and I appreciate y'all tuning in today.